Good morning, everyone. It's our absolute pleasure to see a room filled with people this morning supporting the Christians in Egypt. It's some of these faces actually I recognize some that have been with us from the beginning, and it's been a great journey. I don't want to bore everyone. I know there are amazing speakers coming right after me, so I'm just going to get right to it. This past year in Egypt, unfortunately, we have not seen much of a change for the Christians in Egypt. While we have seen some changes in the rhetoric, there has been some positive rhetoric encouraging religious tolerance. Unfortunately, that has not translated to safety or protection or equality for Christians in Egypt. Some brief examples would be, for example, just this past Good Friday, I believe it was in Elminia, there was a tent that Christians were using to worship that was burned on Good Friday. And I remember looking at the pictures and reading the story and seeing the Christians moving forward, marching forward, and still continuing with their Good Friday services over the ashes. And instead of getting a reaction from the government, who's responsible for this, let's make them accountable, there was nothing. So something we would definitely like to see this year, and that is accountability. While we have an improvement in the rhetoric, we need improvement in other areas. We challenge the Egyptian government to make those changes that will make a difference in the lives of Christians in Egypt. Another thing I would just like to touch base on is how the security officials are consistently shutting down churches in Egypt because they would rather prevent worship than protect worship. There have been so many examples in the last several months and years of Islamists attacking local churches, and the government, instead of protecting the Christians, has chosen to illegally shut these churches down. We challenge the Egyptian government to protect worshipers, not to prevent them from worshiping. Another small example of this problem, I don't know if you guys remember, there was this terrible incident in May 2017 where a busload of pilgrims heading to a monastery was attacked by Islamic extremists, leading to 28 deaths and many injuries. For the months after that, the churches were not permitted to continue with trips and retreats to monasteries. There were cancellations of all activities and conferences outside of churches. A perfect example of prevention versus protection. We need the government to create a safe and secure environment for Coptic Christians. While the rhetoric is appreciated and it's great, it doesn't change the lives of the Christians. And you see that because when you closely examine the news, at least once a week, you can hear of a mob attack occurring on a church or Christian homes or businesses. As an attorney that spends pretty much all day, 5 days a week, working with people fleeing that violence from Egypt, I hear them every day. And you hear about the loss of business, the loss of homes, the loss of family members, dignity, and all I can think is, I'm really sorry after hearing their story. I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry that it's taking so long to help you. But it's people like you that dedicate their time and their lives to representing these people and standing up for them. I am so happy, so humbled, and so honored to be sitting here with you today. I encourage you to have an awesome conference, love it, enjoy it, network, and continue to build on your goal.